There's some kind of retro 70s James Bond girl going on, and there's some like...
What if we never really saved her? She was the girl next door who became the princess of pop, an icon, a revolution, and then a tragedy. For 13 years, Britney Spears lived under a legal conservatorship that controlled every part of her life, from her finances to her body, even her voice. The world watched her suffer, and the world fought for her freedom. When the Free Britney movement erupted, it felt like justice had finally arrived. Crowds cheered, courts ruled, Britney was liberated. But something was off. Her Instagram videos felt strange, her captions cryptic, her marriage brief, her public appearances non-existent. Fans who once chanted her name now whispered, "Is she really okay? What's going on behind those videos? Did we miss something? We thought we saved her." But what if the truth is, we just walked away too soon? Because what lies beneath the surface of Britney Spears' freedom might be even darker than her captivity. Before the glitz, before the paparazzi, before the courtrooms, there was just a little girl from Kentwood, Louisiana. Born on the 2nd of December, 1981, Britney Jean Spears grew up in a modest southern town, the second of 3 children in a working-class family. Her mother, Lynn, was a schoolteacher and aspiring author. Her father, Jamie, battled alcohol and financial instability. From the beginning, the house was unstable. Arguments echoed in the halls, and Britney, wide-eyed, sensitive, often retreated into music and dance as a way to escape. She was a child who needed protection. Instead, she was put on stage. By the age of 3, Britney was already performing at local talent shows. At 8, she auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club and was rejected not for lack of talent, but for being too young. Determined, Lynn pushed harder. At 11, Britney got her second shot, and this time, she got in. She joined a cast of future legends: Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling. For 2 seasons, she sang, danced, and smiled under the bright lights of Disney. But even as a child, she learned to deliver perfection, not joy. She was being trained, packaged, and polished. Childhood was traded for performance. When the Mickey Mouse Club ended, Britney returned home, but only briefly. At 15, she was signed to Jive Records, and the machine began to turn. Behind the scenes, executives reshaped her image into something marketable. Not a teenager, but a fantasy, innocent and sexual, soft-spoken but powerful, a paradox. And the girl inside? She was barely heard. Even then, those closest to her noticed something haunting. Britney didn't just performance, she became the performance. At such a young age, she had learned the greatest lesson of all. In this industry, if you want to survive, you must become what they want you to be, even if it means losing who you are. She was just 16 when the world first heard her voice. Baby One More Time wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural reset. Released in 1998, Britney's debut single skyrocketed to #1 in over a dozen countries. The schoolgirl outfit, the choreographed hallway dance, it became iconic overnight. Suddenly, a teenager from Louisiana was the face of a generation. Her debut album sold over 25 million copies. The media couldn't get enough. Pop's new princess, teen dream. Every magazine wanted her on the cover. Every network wanted her smile. But behind the glitter was a young girl being pulled in all directions by executives, by fans, by a system hungry for profit. She was in rehearsals by dawn, interviews by noon, flights by midnight, each day carefully planned, every word managed. Her managers decided her clothes. Her team chose her boyfriends. Her father, Jamie, loomed in the background, silent, but always there. And still, Britney delivered. Oops, I Did It Again, Stronger, I'm a Slave, See You. Album after album, tour after tour. She wasn't just a pop star, She was the pop star. Her performances were electric, her charisma unmatched. But with every sold-out stadium, the pressure built, and then came the obsession. The tabloids turned her life into a spectacle. Every coffee run, every broken heel, every tear captured, sold, consumed. Her relationship with Justin Timberlake became front-page drama. Her body was analyzed, her virginity questioned, her mental health speculated on. And all the while, Britney kept smiling, because that's what she was trained to do. But even in the early 2000s, cracks began to show. In interviews, she'd pause, search for words. She'd fidget. She'd laugh nervously. "Are you okay?" a reporter once asked. She replied, "Yeah, I'm just tired." No one believed her. No one wanted to hear it, because Britney wasn't allowed to be tired, or sad, or human. She was the product everyone wanted to keep perfect. And so, she kept going until she couldn't anymore. By 2007, the world had turned on Britney Spears. She had gone from pop princess to tabloid punchline. Her every move, no matter how human, was twisted into scandal. She stumbled barefoot into gas stations. She shaved her head in a salon while paparazzi snapped away. She attacked a photographer's car with an umbrella. These weren't just meltdowns. They were cries for help, but no one heard them. The media called her crazy. Late-night hosts mocked her. Paparazzi chased her like prey, some even celebrating when she broke down on camera. Her pain became entertainment, her suffering a business. Everyone was profiting except Britney. At the heart of the chaos was one word: control. After a series of public incidents, Britney was placed under a conservatorship in early 2008. In theory, it was meant to protect her. In reality, it became a prison. Her father, Jamie Spears, was granted near total authority over her life. Her medical care, her finances, even her ability to leave the house or drive a car. Britney was no longer free. She released albums. She toured. She performed a Vegas residency, but every decision, from lipstick color to set list, required approval. She was generating millions, yet couldn't spend $1 without permission. Behind the scenes, things were darker still. Court documents would later allege that Britney was forced to take strong psychiatric medications, that her phone was monitored, that even her bedroom was under surveillance. She spoke of being denied simple choices like having more children or removing an IUD against her will. And yet, through it all, she kept smiling, at award shows, on stage, in interviews, because that's what they wanted. But the cracks deepened. In 2019, fans noticed something was wrong. Britney had gone silent on social media. Whispers began. Then a podcast episode emerged, an anonymous source claiming she was being held in a mental facility against her will. The Free Britney movement, once a fringe concern, exploded into a global campaign. For the first time, people asked, was Britney really being protected, or was she being silenced? In a chilling 2021 courtroom statement, Britney finally spoke. "I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I am traumatized. I just want my life back." It was raw, shaking. A woman reclaiming her voice after over a decade of being controlled. The world listened and gasped. But even as the conservatorship began to unravel, something else became clear: freedom wouldn't come easily. Because trauma doesn't disappear when the chains are broken. It lingers. It waits. And in Britney's case, it was just beginning to show. The 12th of November, 2021. After 13 years, the court finally ended Britney Spears' conservatorship. The crowd outside erupted in cheers. Pink confetti filled the air. "She's free," they shouted. And for a moment, it felt like a fairy tale ending. But real life doesn't end with confetti. In the months that followed, Britney's social media became strange. She posted cryptic captions, old photos recycled, odd videos spinning in circles, dancing alone in an empty house. The sparkle was gone. replaced by something harder to define, raw, unsettling, maybe even a little desperate. Her fans were divided. Some celebrated her freedom, arguing she was finally living without filters. Others grew worried. Was she okay? Was she safe? Some even speculated that Britney was not in control of her own account, or worse, still being watched. Then came the sudden wedding in 2022. Britney married Sam Asghari, a model and fitness trainer. It was private, yet oddly curated. Celebrities attended, but her own family, including her sons, did not. Weeks later, rumors of arguments and instability leaked. A year later, the couple quietly divorced. Britney said little. Instead, she began writing. In late 2023, Britney released her memoir, The Woman in Me. It was raw, honest, heartbreaking. She described being silenced, medicated, pushed to the brink, but it also raised more questions. Certain timelines didn't add up. Key topics like her current mental health or the people around her were skirted. Fans began to wonder, was this her story or one written to end the noise? Even her appearances felt off. She rarely left the house. When she did, paparazzi captured vacant stares, erratic gestures. At one point, she was hospitalized after an incident at a hotel. Another time, she danced with knives, real ones, claiming it was just for fun. But it didn't feel like fun. It felt like a warning. And through it all, the same questions returned. Is Britney truly free, or just invisible now? Did we win the battle for her freedom, but lose her in the process? The fairy tale ending never came, because this was never a fairy tale. It was survival. And Britney, the woman we thought we knew, was still somewhere inside, trying to find her way out. What does it mean to be free? For Britney Spears, freedom was never just legal paperwork. It was the right to feel, to fail, to disappear if she wanted to, or to shine again on her own terms. She was never just a pop star. She was a mirror. Through her, we saw how fame seduces and devours, how young women are idolized, then punished, how the media builds queens only to tear them down, and how a society that claims to protect can just as easily imprison. Today, Britney lives a life out of the spotlight. No stage lights, no arenas, no mic in hand. But she has something far more important, a voice. And after years of being silenced, she's finally speaking raw, imperfect, human. Her story isn't over. It's evolving, healing, unraveling. And maybe that's what we all missed. Britney never needed to be saved. She just needed to be believed and left alone. So the next time we scroll past a video of her spinning in circles or a cryptic caption, maybe we pause, not to judge, not to diagnose, but to remember she survived, and that alone is extraordinary.